What's going on, everybody? Gus here. How you guys doing today? So WWDC is over. 2021 gone, and it was a frantic 2-hour stream with so much stuff packed that we barely even had time to, breathe or take notes, which means way too much stuff to go through in one video. So today I want to focus on a couple of key features and their subsequent impact to Apple's walled garden. Alright, let's get to it. Okay, so this is the entire list. This is everything that they have announced. And yeah, they really packed those 2 hours with stuff. And we will be getting into everything with more detail in upcoming videos, so make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss those. But these are going to be our focus for today. And yes, it is still a bunch of stuff, but the overarching theme for this year's WWDC, in Apple's own words, were to stay more connected, find focus, use intelligence, explore the world, and stay very cozy in the ecosystem. That fifth one is mine. Basically everything that they have announced can be categorized in one or more of those 4 big pillars, and pretty much everything helps build a bigger wall around the garden. Let's take FaceTime as our first example here. For one, they have finally made it jump the fence. FaceTime can now spread to other systems like Android and Windows, because you can create a link to your FaceTime call with someone and send it to your buddies. It's also got new visuals, grid layout, portrait mode, spatial audio and voice isolation, wide spectrum, and the same peace of mind that it's end-to-end encrypted, safe and secure. And all that's great, it's fine. It just makes FaceTime better at what it already does for people who use it. But more than that, it means that if you are a FaceTime user, you do not need to leave the ecosystem, even if you need to interact with people who are not in it. Because, you don't need to use any other app or software to be able to interact with people either on Android or Windows, because you can create the link and send it to them. So on one end, a bunch of new features and enhancements to make FaceTime better for those using, but on another, and maybe even more importantly than the first one, everything together makes FaceTime even more enticing for people that are not in the ecosystem already to maybe take the plunge. And of course, as if that wasn't enough, Apple went on and doubled down in the frankly stupid levels of integration that their devices have together and unveiled the first big feature of the keynote: SharePlay, which in broader terms isn't exactly new and something that you could already do with other software either on Apple devices, Android and Windows, but working like this built into iOS and the integration with the other OSs like this is something rather new, because you can share what you're listening to on Apple Music or watching on, Disney Plus or on Twitch or any number of things, or even sharing your own screen with people in the call with you, giving you the control to scroll back and forth and to pinpoint and select what you want to be showing everyone else, and it's synced across everybody in the call so that everyone is on the same page, is at the same spot in that experience. You can even, be watching and talking to people on your phone, watching something on, Apple TV, and you can just throw it to your Apple TV, keep watching there, keeping the conversation on your phone in the FaceTime call, and you can even add messages to the mix, like literally texting with all your friends while everything else is going on, not being restricted to the FaceTime app and the FaceTime call specifically. And all of that with an API for app developers to use that feature with their apps. Another example is actually messages, because everybody knows how important the app and the service is to Apple and how many people stay in the ecosystem because of iMessage. The integration, how it works and all of that. But now to improve it from iOS 15 onwards, everything that is shared with you through messages, like links, documents, photos, music, playlists, and any kind of stuff like that, is going to be automatically highlighted in a specific Shared With Me section on every single other app, like in Photos in Safari and Apple Music and Apple News and Apple TV, across all your devices. Those 2 or 3 things a friend shared with you 7 hours ago amongst 300 other messages within 50 different topics? Yeah, it's going to be very much easier to find those things again from now on. This This is what set the tone and the bar for every single other thing they announced within those 2 hours of the stream. Because it didn't matter what was the feature they were announcing or talking about, there was a huge part of every single conversation that always revolved around how that feature worked across every single one of your devices and your systems in tandem to create and make your life easier and better. It's all about how the integration of the ecosystem makes it so that being in the garden is really good, and getting deeper into it, investing more into it, makes it just better and better. Something like that. Other examples include features or groups of features like Focus, which was created and made to improve the way that you get and manage notifications, for example, which frankly in iOS has been long overdue for an overhaul, and allowing you to set profiles for your devices depending on what you want to focus on at any given time, like work, personal stuff, not being disturbed, or catching some Z's. And again, working across every one of your devices means that if you set your iPhone to personal mode, every other device that you own is going to automatically just manage all your notifications and apps in the exact same way. And if you're anything like most other people and can get sidetracked and distracted easily from a bunch of notifications popping in from all over the place, this will probably most definitely be really, really useful. Wallet is bringing digital keys for your car, your home, your office, and even hotels, as well as digital ID cards and driver's licenses. So your physical wallet is just one step closer to literally not needing to exist. Now, iPadOS is one that most people were expecting to see really, really huge news about or around because of the recently revealed and released, frankly overkill M1 iPad Pros. But instead of going that route, Apple basically stuck to the theme of iOS 15, brought basically all the same features and all that same, cross-device and cross-system integration to the iPad, and addressed a couple of weird restrictions on how to place and organize widgets, the app drawer that didn't exist yet for no good reason, and talked about multitasking features, Swift playgrounds for app developers to be able to code from start to finish directly on the iPad, and introduced Quick Notes. This one looks awesome and seems like it's going to be super fun, useful, and practical to use, but unfortunately it can only be created on an iPad or on a Mac and only edited on an iPhone. And I've seen a couple of people saying that that's because the iPhone doesn't support Apple Pencil like the iPad, but neither does the Mac. So what gives? It seems like too useful of a feature not to be included across the board. But let's wait and see. We need to get our hands on the betas to actually test it out. Now, speaking of macOS, Monterey, the new macOS is called Monterey, by the way, it brings basically every single one of the same features and enhancements that you just saw about iOS and iPadOS, and in the same spirit, the same quest for building a bigger wall around the garden, it also brought shortcuts, which is super nice and another way to dive deeper into making your life in the Mac easier, with plenty of shortcuts that are, very easy to set up and use. AirPlay to Mac, which no other way to put this aside from really long overdue Apple, seriously. And lastly, and possibly one of the strongest contenders for top 3 features of the entire keynote, Universal Control. This one is hands down a huge super flex from Apple because it could only be done with the type of integration that you see in the ecosystem. You just can't find a way to get something like this to work outside of this walled garden. At least not in a way that is this native, to the point of you literally not needing any type of setup, just plopping your iPad by the side of your Mac or multiple Macs and using a single keyboard and mouse or the trackpad on your MacBook, for example, to drag and drop files and stuff between all of that, between your Macs and your iPads. And it's different from using your iPad as sidecar to extend your Mac's display, because the iPad keeps on working and it's still an iPad. You can grab it and draw on it and edit photos in Lightroom, for example, using the Apple Pencil and just using the iPad as an iPad, and then literally use your MacBook to go into the iPad and fetch that file to drag back to the MacBook to keep on working through there. And even if it's not indispensable or even the only way to, easily manage files through all your devices, since, AirDrop and iCloud Drive exist, it is basically yet another way to showcase and improve on how much and how important workflow continuity is and how it works within the ecosystem. Now, speaking of iCloud, this is one low-key, super big and rich impact to the perception of the ecosystem, in my opinion. Because together with everything that was talked about privacy, offering and delivering this big of a package of internet security features makes it so much more enticing for anyone to think about buying in, jumping in. Hiding our IP address and location on Mail and Safari. Hiding interactions with email so no one knows if you've read it or not. New app privacy reports that let you know if and when what app used what information and how they treated it, if they shared it and with whom. Siri's 100% on-device voice processing, making it faster, more secure, and offline, so if you for some reason don't have a connection, you can still use Siri. Hide My Email to create and manage fake email aliases to use whenever you want. Private Relay, which is basically a VPN with double relayed connections for extra security. Put all of that together as native part of the ecosystem, even if some of those things are, within the current pricing for a paid iCloud Plus subscription, and the whole package gets way more attractive. Even for people who are still weighing the options between paying for a separate VPN or paying for extra storage on iCloud, why pay for the separate thing if you can get both directly through iCloud with no extra charge because they're not changing the price? Because remember, it's all about making the stay of everybody in the ecosystem as cozy and as awesome and fluid as possible. And obviously making it so that for everybody outside, the ecosystem and that beautiful garden gets more and more enticing for them to actually buy in. You may not like Apple as a company or their devices or their software or their services, but fact is, as of late, it's being harder and harder not to just acknowledge that they do deliver incredible value, both in how they build their devices, how they build their services, and you kind of also need to take into consideration the longevity of what you get for the pricing you pay for those devices and services. Because Apple does support their devices for several years longer than what you would see outside of the fence. And that peace of mind, that knowing that your device is going to still be relevant and being able to access most, if not everything, in terms of features for several years to come, is something to take into consideration, and it does make a big difference for a lot of people. As business strategy goes, making it so that the entire ecosystem is this well integrated, drawing from every device's strength to empower the entire myriad of services that work with and around all of them to serve you as an individual, is actually pretty brilliant. Just like our sponsor for today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is the platform to be able to access information on basically every topic that you could possibly think of, like, for example, filmmaking on your phone or video editing. As a platform, Skillshare is constantly growing and offers courses from creators and professionals that are easy to digest and that are incredibly powerful to get that ball rolling. You can hone in your skills in filmmaking. You can learn how to better use lighting to set up your own videos. You can learn how to get better at mastering your audio and so much more. It's a platform that has helped and continues to help countless people, entrepreneurs, and creators to improve their game. So if you've been debating maybe taking on a more creative endeavor or any other type of project, take a look down below in the description for links to get up to 2 weeks worth of a free premium trial and up to 40% off an annual membership. Starting anything new is all about taking that first step. And it can be as easy as just pressing record on your phone, for example, creating your videos and putting it out there. But if you can get better on your process and get better at something that you actually enjoy doing, why not, right? And that's been it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, so make sure to be subscribed so that you don't miss the other ones when we go even deeper into the actual beta tests. Also, if you missed, check out this video that I just posted on how to get started on YouTube only using entry-level Apple gear. Maybe now's the time. All the links are down below in the description, but if I missed anything, let me know in the comments or over on Discord. Thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Thank you for watching. This is Gus, and I'll catch you guys later.